Hello, Eurovision party people. Welcome to Eurovision is My Religion, where we chat, laugh, and cringe at the Eurovision Song Contest. It's chill, it's funny, and it's the Eurovision hangout you didn't know you needed. Join us as we dissect the Euro madness. I'm your host today, Gerda, and with me I have our European language and geography expert, Kotrina.
Pleasure to be here.
Our representative from the European Magician Alliance, August.
Hooray, I'm here.
And our trains and songs relating to trains enthusiast, Simona.
Choo choo. Hello.
Right. So we know that the semi-final order was announced last week, and we thought it would be a good time to recap our predictions. Who's going to qualify, who's going to not qualify, and whether the running order changed our predictions from last time. So I think we should start with August this week because he wasn't part of our prediction experience last time. So we're keen to hear your views. And let's start with Semi 1. Who do you have as your 5 sure qualifiers from semi-final 1?
So Lithuania without question. Sylvester Belt all the way. We are biased in this, of course, but I think his quality. I don't know if I need to expand, but I also wanted to mention a fact that listeners may not know. The stage presentation that Sylvester has, I heard some remark, I should have fact-checked this, but somebody who helped design the stage visuals is related to Dua Lipa's performances somehow.
What?
That's why maybe it looks so good.
Anyway. Let's fact check this.
Yeah, we need to.
Or not.
I heard something like that in all fairness
Really?
somewhere. Yes, Dua
That's
Lipa was
amazing.
mentioned, but
Yeah.
don't remember in which extent.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay, so should we just also confirm if we also have the same
I
country?
think that's a no-brainer, right? Or Simona looks...
No, despite the lack of trains, I still have Sylvester in that definitely qualifying.
Same. It's also in my top 5, despite all the odds and despite that he's gonna perform third. And over the past 15 years, only 40% of countries that perform third in a semifinal qualify. So the odds are not in his favor, but the song that he has, and of course UK being in the semi, voting in the semi will help a lot.
Yeah, UK and Ireland is next one, sorry.
Yeah, Ireland is also voting.
So UK and Ireland voting. And also before that, I think before him is Serbia, which is a very slow song, so he will really stand out with his visuals in this song. So I think it's still possible.
Yeah, and just for comparison, do you have the stats of the second place in the semi-final, how likely it is to qualify? Because I guess we normally call it a death spot, right?
Yeah, so both second and third are death spots.
No, the third one is death spot as well, previously mentioned, just second.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always thought it's just the second, but now you're saying it's the third as well.
The stats, so by the way, it's not stats from the beginning of time, it's just for the the last 15
from
years.
From Big Bang? Not from Big Bang?
Just the final 15 years. It's 40% for both of the spots. And alongside 11th, these are the lowest percentages to qualify in semifinal.
Interception. Isn't this year different because of the voting?
Yeah,
yes, because you votes start from the beginning, from the first song.
Yeah.
So the statistics, let's hope, might change slightly.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will help. However, the argument is that a lot of people tune in a bit later. Or if you're hosting some sort of Eurovision party, people are still arriving, people are chit-chatting.
I know who those people are and I judge them.
Yeah. In our Eurovision party, there is no chit-chatting over the first 3 songs.
Yes.
Or any songs. Right, so Lithuania, I think we all agree that the good song will save it from its running order death spot. Is that a correct summary?
I believe so. I also think no rules. Finland should make it. Well, I believe will make it just because there's such a fun song and the people like them, I think, and they will pull off the performance with the shorts and probably even more props, and I'm sure that they will make it through. Do you guys agree? Or
I had it in my top 5. Yeah,
I had it as well.
Yeah,
right. So far, so good.
So far on the same page. I put Ukraine just because it's quality. I put Ireland, and of course, lasagna made of babies.
My top 5 is exactly like yours.
Nice.
Okay.
Strangely, I think people will disagree probably regarding Ireland in particular, so I will invite people to.
I think Ireland is the contention point. I'm wondering what Katrina has instead of Ireland.
Yeah, so Lithuania, Ukraine, Croatia, Finland, all aligned. My 5th short qualifier is actually, you might find it surprising, but it's Luxembourg.
I'm not finding it surprising because it's also my 5th choice.
The qualification record of the song closing a semifinal is 88%.
Yeah.
It's the strongest place to be in a semifinal. You're almost a short qualifier when you close the show. So that will help Luxembourg. There is always an audience for a girly bop. And also I think they might make a big deal about Luxembourg being back after 31 years. So some people might be like, oh yeah, let's support Luxembourg. Let's, do you think it's a good closing performance, Luxembourg? Do you think it's strong enough? Because I thought that Finland would close the semi-1.
Yeah, I thought Finland or Croatia. But I think you want kind of a fast, upbeat song. So it kind of fits that criteria.
It's like symbolic as well, Luxembourg and everything,
I think so.
and pushing them through to the final, so they make sure to compete the next year. Because if they wouldn't, they probably were like, "Why we're coming back?"
I think that's exactly why they placed them last, rather than being the best fit for the final spot.
And it's also quite symmetrical because they open with Cyprus, which is another kind of girly bop, and I think the second semifinal opens with Malta.
Yeah.
I think they close with
it definitely starts with Malta. Yes.
Yeah, but they kind of, there's this tendency that they kind of open with girly bops, and then in semi-1 case also close with the girly bop.
I can't remember the song. It looks bad. I should have remembered, but
something
it's been a while.
Around fighter.
Yeah, fighter.
Yes,
yeah.
It's one of the fighter songs.
Yeah.
There's a fighter,
there's a few
firefighter. So
okay.
Easy to remember.
Those are fighting this year.
There's a lot of girly bops, and I think I'm confusing some of them in my head.
Yeah.
I think she revamped it as well and re-released it. I didn't see any difference myself. I don't remember the initial one.
I haven't listened to it yet.
I kept listening to the studio version. So I noticed a little change, but it's so minor. I think what's more interesting is probably the music video and kind of the visual kind of sense that they're putting out there.
Completely different from the actual performance on stage. Yes,
it's very kind of artistic. There's kind of monochromatic kind of colors and structures, and it looked very interesting. Much more interesting than the performance in the national final.
Yeah, performance looked very outdated.
Yeah, so we'll see whether they kind of try to implement some of those ideas.
They have monies in Luxembourg. They might invest into it. We'll see.
And she sings in French, right?
Yeah.
Parts of the song in French. Yeah.
Okay, so me and Gerda are aligned. August, you had Island. Simona, same.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
just
aligned
think
with
it's so different to all the other songs that I think that might push it through. I actually had a really hard time to think of the 5th short qualifier, because the first 4 I was like easy, and the rest of the mix is a bit of like I debated Luxembourg for sure, and let me have a look. Yeah, Luxembourg had a think maybe Australia, but I have like quite a few maybes in this semifinal, which was actually different to the other semifinal where my short qualifiers were really easily sort of fought through. So yeah, and Ireland at the end, I was just like, I thought only on the side that it will stand out, I think, as very, very different to everything, that I thought like it might really help it.
I also looked at what we were predicting a month ago.
It must be quite different because I think we didn't know quite a few songs.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But so I think in terms of Katrina's predictions, the differences are really in terms of Serbia's and Australia's performances.
I still think they will qualify. I just don't. They just didn't end up in my top 5.
Mhm.
In the other 5, yeah, that I have as well.
Yeah, and I think Simona, you also agreed on Australia, and you mentioned that maybe it was kind of fighting for that final place in your 5 sure qualifiers. So yeah, I guess they could go through. I think with Australia, a lot will depend on the staging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my problem with Ireland, I think they are a little bit unlucky with the placement, because generally speaking, year on year, we have more qualifiers from the second half than the first half. And in the first half, we are already saying that Lithuania, Ukraine, Croatia are sure qualifiers. So I'm just not sure if there is another spot for another country in that first half, especially if we consider Serbia qualifying as well. So that was my concern for Ireland. I think the placing is not helping them, but we will see.
I also thought that it was interesting to place. So I think the running order is Lithuania, Ireland, and then UK.
Yeah.
And I think Lithuania and UK kind of similar types of songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Ireland is very different, and that can either help them or kind of put it in a kind of non-beneficial position.
Yeah.
Because I think what's coming out from the first pre-party is that both Sylvester and Ollie, great singers. I think one video that I've seen of Bambi Thug was probably better than the national selection, but maybe not as strong as those other 2 surrounding her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will kind of. I think she wasn't lucky with that placement.
I think they placed it there so because otherwise there are quite a few similar songs, and it's just to really break up UK and Lithuania, which are coming out with similarly looking, even some people say, artists. So
yeah, and separated it from Slovenia, which people say are 2 division looking performances, right? So you didn't want Slovenia to be anywhere close to Ireland.
Right. Should we quickly run through our predictions for the sure non-qualifiers? So, Ogi, why don't you start with your first non-qualifier?
Yeah, sure. I put Azerbaijan just because I didn't vibe with the clip myself, but I
Which particular part of a clip, may I ask?
I don't know. The unexpected second person entering.
And Katrina could tell the name.
Ilkin Dovlatov, guys.
Sorry.
I repeat that name every night before sleep.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was a bit boring. My top 5 non-qualifier list, I think, is mainly songs which I thought were either out of touch or a bit boring or just a bit strange, like Poland with I wasn't sure if they would be gripping enough to resonate with a lot of people. It's maybe interesting, Poland, a bit with the tower, but it's I think Ireland is interesting, but it's also catchy with the interval where she sings the poppy part.
Melodic part, yeah.
And overall it's quite cool. Whereas Poland's tower is just maybe slightly odd, at least in my opinion. I'm not basing these 5 on probably very...
That's okay, we have a stats person.
We have a stats person.
We have Katrina for this.
Yeah,
but basically Azerbaijan, Iceland, who's too early for her time, Portugal, Moldova, I said, and Poland.
I have a slightly different but very similar list, actually.
All right, so where do you differ from August? Because I also have one difference, but I think we're fairly aligned.
Yeah, I agreed that Iceland is an easy one. Iceland, Poland, I don't see any coolness in that tower. Azerbaijan, Portugal, and Cyprus.
Oh,
okay. So I am a bit surprised by your Azerbaijan view because I thought you quite liked the song.
Yeah, just because I quite like the song doesn't mean that it will quite qualify.
Okay. Yeah, I also put Cyprus, and I think that's my difference with August because I have Cyprus, Iceland, Moldova, Azerbaijan, and Portugal.
I mean, I was considering Cyprus, but she's going first, right? Isn't she?
Yeah.
And I guess it could be an energetic performance, and if voting starts from the very beginning, maybe people will vote if she pulls it off, if it's a dancey, girly bop.
But I think we had this song
so many times better.
in the past few years.
Yeah.
And placing quite well. I think this year might be like, that's enough.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I don't think it will place as high, but maybe people will like it enough to send a vote.
Countries are not in this semi-final as well to help out.
Yeah. Greece is in the second one. So, what about you, Katrina? What did you have as your?
So mostly aligned, but as we discussed, I have Ireland as a sure non-qualifier, and then Poland, Iceland, Moldova, and Azerbaijan. Poland, sandwiched between Ukraine and Croatia. No chance for them to qualify. Sorry, I really don't think they have a chance.
They need a very impressive tower there.
Yeah, to stand out between those two. Ireland, we talked about. Iceland, 9th in the running order, so straight after the break. The commercial break.
That's a really shit song as well.
And it's a shit song.
Why you're thinking this is the order issue? Place it anywhere. Place it at the last point. Yeah. It will not qualify.
Moldova is probably the weakest of the second part of the second half. Azerbaijan, agree with what you guys said. I think Portugal will qualify. I think Portugal will find its audience, and it's second to last, which is one of the best places to be.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about Poland, but I was wondering if diaspora voting will save them, because they also kind of tend to get votes from countries like UK, Ukraine. It's kind of similar to Lithuania, I guess.
That's a good point.
But yeah, maybe the performances didn't look the strongest. So yeah, it's kind of.
What sort of tower do you think she'll build? Human tower? That's one option. To have dancers and, one of those. As the song progresses, that could be something.
Human tower would be cool, but only 6 people. It's difficult to
it's not very impressive.
Is it limited to 6?
Yeah.
What about cards?
Card deck.
Card deck tower.
Champagne tower.
Champagne tower would be really exciting.
Yeah, I like that one.
Especially if we could drink it, but we're not there, so.
Man, a visual tower behind her or something.
On the screen?
Yeah, she made herself to be a tower in that dress, I think, as well. So maybe it could be it could be like Australia's really tall, sitting on something like a tower of some sort.
Her boots extend and she slowly becomes taller and taller, like a tower.
Oh, yeah. She could be with those leg fingers like from a circus.
Yeah, but somehow extending. So she starts on the ground and gets higher and higher. And
I think we had that as well. What?
Australia?
Yeah.
The swinging.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember?
She could be Pizza Tower, from Italy.
Pizza
kind of tower. Not Pizza Tower.
She could be on the Pizza Tower.
Pizza Tower could be good alongside the Champagne Tower.
Yeah. I think you're giving too many ideas to Poland now. You should.
You're welcome.
Get some credit. In terms of what we were predicting before, so I guess a few differences. I think Slovenia, both Katrina and Simona put as a sure non-qualifier last time. Not sure if your opinions changed or whether they were just.
I was on the fence. I was between Slovenia and Ireland.
Did I put her as sure non-qualifier? So that they won't understand it, basically.
Yeah.
I still don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the placing helps Slovenia. They go after Iceland and Germany, so I think that's really helpful for them.
Yeah. I think otherwise, Katrina turned around and changed her opinion about Portugal qualifying. I think
seems like some bias going on there.
Yeah, some biases coming through. Anyway, should we move on to semi-final 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. August, what did you put as your qualifiers from the second semi-final?
Mm-hmm.
From the first, second semi-final.
So I wonder if our top 5 will match, but I put Austria, Nemo, Musti, Europapa, and Estonia about the song about narcotics.
I have one difference with you. Again, same as before.
Ah,
I have more differences.
interesting.
Ooh.
I have two differences.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Okay.
Differences.
And your list, you said, was no-brainer. Bop.
I think in terms of what will qualify, I thought that was no brainer when I was putting. So I have Switzerland and Netherlands and Belgium as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have Greece, which I
Yeah,
think
I
will
also have Greece.
and I think Israel will qualify.
Mm.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
One difference to Samana. Instead of Israel, I have Norway.
Okay,
Oh.
so we're
I
fairly
cannot
divided.
make up my mind about Norway, honestly. It's just so hard.
Yeah, the
for me.
hype seemed to have died down. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot of support for Norway on social media,
Yeah.
and I don't really see it as much.
Yeah,
Same for Estonia. I think there
Yeah.
was a lot of support before and just kind of
I agree
vanished.
with you. I agree with you. It's just the placing, the running order that made me pick Norway. 18 slot has 88% qualification rate, as I said previously. So
Yeah, you're using mathematics, Katrina.
Yeah.
Numbers and statistics.
no feelings, no emotions, pure
Yeah, but
maths
I'm
and
going
stats.
with just my instinctive vibe and what I've seen.
Gerda, what did you say was yours?
Mine was pretty similar to August. I had Switzerland, Austria, Belgium, and Netherlands, but instead of Estonia, I had Greece.
I thought does August has Austria?
I have Austria.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think Austria, I'm not too sure after Madrid's pre-party. That was a very controversial
Really?
kind
What
of
happened?
discussion point.
Yeah.
So some people think that she performed really well. Some people think that she actually disappointed with her vocals. I think the video that I watched, she performed, like her performance relied heavily on the back vocals. Like there were kind of parts of the song where she wasn't even trying to sing. It all kind of just felt like back vocals and her dancing. And also, most disappointingly, she didn't bring any guys to Madrid. So,
What?
I mean, that was already a
That's
case
like-
made against her.
So who was dancing? Wait.
She was
She was
dancing.
just
Oh, it's
dancing
just she
on her own.
and her back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vocals were so, but for me, I really wanted her to look like she's from the 90s, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was eluding the right energy on stage for that song. She was all this sexy, Chanel-like, girly, and I think the song needs someone looking a bit edgier and like fucking raving on the stage.
We can keep this, no problem. It's not for
We'll
kids.
keep this. I always mark it with ours as explicit, and it's
Yeah,
usually
it's
not
fine,
that
it's fine.
explicit. Now Katrina thankfully delivers.
You do have a point.
She
This
just did not look like a raver. For me,
Yeah.
her looks did not match the vibe of the song.
She never fully did. And
Yeah, even
that
in the
was one
video.
of
I
my
agree,
concerns
but I was
as well.
hoping it would be different on stage.
Yeah.
I thought that, bringing the guys in the video, it's sort of not mocking, but like, playing back to, I suppose, those years' vibes and something. That's the part where she tried to make it like those times.
Mhm.
But if she's not delivering that and sort of dressed up like,
Yeah, she does look a
sexy
little
lady
bit
on
too
it.
much Chanel, maybe. She's a bit too like polished.
I want baggy jeans and a crop and a neon crop top, and a net top, something from the 90s.
Okay.
I didn't watch the performance, so I cannot comment. But yeah, maybe I expect rave to be joyful and free, not
Not
super
overly
sexy,
sexualized.
yeah,
It was
not
a
sexual.
sexy
It was
Yeah.
very, very sexy.
But I think in terms of that, she didn't let me down with that performance because the video was already kind of a very sexualized kind of. I think
Very.
I said in my first kind of reflections, it kind of feels like a very different rave from what I experienced.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think she was going for that vibe, but I think it's kind of the whole performance just didn't sound that well. But I may be kind of biased.
But the song seems in line with this year's, 90s Euro trash vibe, almost like the embodiment of
Yeah.
that time.
But I think, as I spoke in one of the previous episodes, like, I don't think that people who are not listening to Eurovision that much will necessarily and they will understand obviously that it's from those times, but it's not like ironic or done playfully and in sort of original way. It's literally a replica of those songs. And some people may think like, why, it's not like you're not trying to play with that genre. You're literally just doing that genre. And yeah,
I guess in terms of the placement, it's placed between France, strong singer, and Denmark. I'm not sure whether Denmark was a kind of very strong singer, but very kind of ballady performances. So maybe she'll kind of stand out and kind of rile the audiences for a party. Madrid audience seemed to party a lot with her.
Well, we party to anything.
At some point, I was watching those videos and thinking, like, there were just so many phone screens, and I do sound like a Zoomer when complaining about like recording shows, but it just felt like people like gathered to record like the first impressions of the songs. But yeah, with some songs, obviously like Baby Lasagna, Austria, everyone just went wild. So, my theory was disproven that they're not partying enough. But we'll see for ourselves this week.
Anything to discuss about the other songs that we put in our top 5? And any doubts? I think the least doubts I had was the Netherlands. I think they're going to win the televote. I think they're going to win the semi. So that was the most sure of the sure qualifiers.
For me, it's Switzerland.
Switzerland.
I almost see them winning.
The whole thing? Potentially. But because this is just televote and no jury.
Oh, yeah. Oh, completely forgot that.
Yeah, that's why I thought the Netherlands might win this. Of course, Switzerland will get more jury votes than televote than televotes in the final, potentially. Maybe that.
Yeah, I think Netherlands, you kind of raise a good point. I think they lead in terms of either YouTube video kind of audience or also streaming. I'm not sure whether it's just YouTube or it's also streaming. And it's leading by like a lot.
Loads of millions. Yeah.
So I think
and they're closing the show, which is helpful, whereas Switzerland is performing 4th, which is not an ideal slot.
Yeah, but I guess we don't really find out who wins the semi-final until after Eurovision final. So
which slot is Greece performing? Remind me.
So Greece is just before Switzerland in the 3rd slot. So I guess we are arguing that they will defy the odds and will qualify despite that.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. There's a lot of hype around the song.
Yeah.
And the song, I think, if played well, staged well, should be qualifying. But yeah, their position is not helpful.
Yeah, Greece, Netherlands, and Switzerland. I was about all 3 of them curious how they will stage it, because all music clips were quite interesting and cool. But I've seen songs in the past that looked really cool, but then on the stage they were slightly off or not a bit weird. And like, what was that? The girls with the braids, Croatia maybe even last year. Czech. Yeah, yes. The Slavic. The clip seemed super impactful. And then on stage they were swinging their long hair braids and dressed all pink, and I don't know, not as impactful. The hands in the background on the screen.
Yeah, it was very different performance from the music video. I remember being a bit surprised that that's the look that they went for, because it was kind of very contrary to.
Yeah, it was underwhelming a little bit to compare.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess kind of looking at our predictions from before, we were really unsure about semi-final 2. Despite having kind of, I think, the same amount of the same number of songs released at the time.
I think we didn't talk or listen to quite a few of the songs. I don't think Netherlands was out at that time.
No, yeah, but it was kind of between semi 1 and semi 2. We had the same number of songs released. But semi 2 we were just kind of really not sure who's going to qualify. One country that kind of, I think both Simona and I think I said that will definitely qualify is Norway. I think I still think that they will qualify, but I'm just not 100% sure. It's not in that top 5 for me.
Same, I think well qualified, but it's just not the top 5, sure.
And Katrina and also Simona had question marks, but maybe potential qualifier as Albania. And I think I also thought that Albania might qualify, but it's kind of put in that dev spot. And I also just thought that there's only one dev spot. So.
No chance. Is that a good segue to sure non-qualifiers?
Right. So do we all have Albania?
I've had Albania song. I was singing it one morning, subconsciously. I think I woke up and I had it in my head.
You sing some weird songs. This past week you've been singing Georgia. So
yeah, true.
Wow.
Yeah, true.
Like a firefighter.
Yeah, but probably my subconscious is not the best.
No, let's go with
predictor. No, so to talk about my list, I had number 1 Norway.
As a sure non-qualifier.
Yeah, then I had
sure non-qualifier.
This is a turnaround. Remember August, the biggest Norway's fan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
so out of all the rocky songs, because there are 3, right? Czechia, San Marino, Norway.
Yeah.
You picked Norway.
Yeah, I don't consider it a rocky song. I think it's an aerial composition of sound that's a bit strange, and probably a good soundtrack for a movie. But I don't know about the catchiness of the song. Yeah, Kaino. I liked Spirit in the Sky. The poppy Norway. Not
Let's
this,
not start comparing to Kaino everything.
By the way, I may give you some good news. Kaino are performing in the London pre-party.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they gonna sing?
I should hope they will sing Spirit in the Sky.
Spirit in the Sky.
Please.
Just that one song.
We're gonna
just
go
for
and
you.
ask.
We asked them to
you
come
think
just
they
for
would
you.
do it if we ask them?
Yeah.
I'm sure
No.
we're listening to a podcast as well, so we'll know to
probably.
cue it up.
Okay, thank you, Kaino. I had Sand by Denmark. I put Latvia, the wise, depressive singer. Then I put Megara from San Marino, and then I put Georgia, the mashup of all pop songs ever.
Okay, so you're really going against your subconscious then.
Yeah.
Wait, and you had Albania as well?
No, he didn't.
No Albania.
No.
So mine is completely different list.
Wow.
But there are a couple of songs.
Yeah, I think we share 3. I also thought that Denmark, Latvia, and San Marino will not qualify.
I also have the same 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame because I was hoping that maybe it's Latvia's here.
Yeah. Yeah. I was choosing between Latvia and Estonia, actually. I was like, one of them will have to go. And I settled on Latvia in the end.
I didn't. I don't have Latvia as non-qualifying, although it is not a very sure qualifier for me.
Okay. I hope you're right, Simona. I really want them to qualify.
My non-qualifiers are San Marino as well. San Marino, Denmark, Albania, Malta, and Czechia.
I also have Czechia.
What about Malta? Is it because she's opening? You think that
because she's opening?
She will pass?
I also think that I think with the revamp, maybe she can work on the choreography. I think she could improve and maybe qualify or be borderline. I don't know. I wasn't sure. I think in Czechia, people are kind of hyping her up that maybe she will improve her vocals. But again, looking at how she sounded at the pre-party, it wasn't strong. It's probably better, but just not good enough.
And also going after Greece and Switzerland. It will be so underwhelming.
Yeah, I think Czechia, I wrote this to myself, is placed between Switzerland and France, right? Sandwich between them.
Correct.
So both really good singers. Like anything that you're singing off note will stand out really well. So yeah. What about you, Katrina?
Yeah, so same Denmark, Latvia, San Marino, Czechia, Albania.
I've heard that Denmark song, didn't realize it at the time, on YouTube is dubbed. It's not her voice. Well, it's her voice, obviously, but not her live performance. I've listened recently to the vocal coach videos.
Okay.
As I obviously wanted to see how she reacts to a look talk,
Yeah.
which was a disappointing reaction.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, and I usually like her reactions, but one I did
This is
not
because
agree.
she said it was not challenging, so there was not much to show.
It was also because the lyrics were not very complex, but also when you hear her sort of the translation, I don't think she got the full meaning behind the lyrics, but regardless, she said the lyrics were quite simple, the tune was quite repetitive. In terms of his vocal abilities, she said that the way he sang was very it's
Laid
cold.
back.
Yeah, laid back / lazy type of singing, but it's not like that he's lazy. It's just the way that he sings. She compared it to the way Ariana Grande sings, and in the way
I'll
that
take that as a compliment.
it's not the worst. Like where lazy singers were doing really well.
She's one of the best singers in the world.
So it's all good, probably. But yeah, she just seemed like it. I was really surprised that it was quite a no for her. And then I saw another video around Denmark, and I think she mentioned that there was dubbing on her vocals. It wasn't clear whether it was because of audio issues on stage, but then they could have re-recorded that performance, or why it was dubbed
But
like
she
this.
performed live in the Danish Grand Prix, whatever they called it, final.
I can double check, but that's what she said.
That's interesting. And I guess winners normally perform the second time as well. I can't remember whether Denmark had like a super final where... So basically, if there were sound issues, there were at least 2 or 3 performances on that live show to pick from.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting that they went with dubbing. That would be really masking some other issues, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting. Conspiracies, no?
A lot of conspiracy theories that I need to check out for Miss Week.
Yeah, and on the comment, just to go back for a second, the vocal coach on Sylvester, that's
You
bullshit.
also listened to the video.
That's complete bullshit. And if listeners are curious, you should check out Sylvester's earlier performances and live singing on X Factor. Like 7 years ago, he has a beautiful, clean voice, and I think he sings great.
How's that other song where he performed for the Youth Eurovision?
Even as like a 6-year-old, he was sharp and on point.
12, yeah.
She's not convinced you should listen to that one.
Yeah, the vocal coach.
Yeah, you're wrong on this one. We think we're not biased at all. Yeah, so I think that's an interesting list. We'll see whether we're on point with some of these predictions.
Do you think there will be shock non-qualifiers in semi-1 or semi-2? Who are the most likely shock non-qualifiers?
Finland, semi-final 1.
Finland in semi-final 1 and Estonia in semi-final 2 for me.
Austria in semi-final 2 for me.
I
Could be a
agree.
shock
Austria would be a shock one, but plausible. Yeah. Greece could be a shock non-qualifier as well.
If they don't, because we are placing so much hope and expectations on their staging.
Exactly.
If they don't deliver.
Yeah.
Australia, would that be a shock in semi-1?
Not for me.
Not really
Not
a
for
shock.
me, yeah.
No, not a shock. Yeah, just thinking.
I mean, it's a shock looking at their stats and kind of performances so far, but this year I just don't think you connect with the song straight away.
Yeah. I don't think like semi-1 doesn't really have many potential shock non-qualifiers for me. Like most of these songs would not shock me, other than Croatia and Ukraine.
Yeah, but I think they are qualified.
Yeah.
Like I cannot even say that they're
exactly.
shock non-qualified.
Exactly.
I cannot comprehend this.
Exactly.
It would be beyond shock.
It's not in the realm of possibilities. So
yeah.
Other than that, I don't think I would be shocked by anything.
We're a tough crowd. We're not shocked anymore.
Yeah, we're prepared for...
It's not our first Eurovision to be shocked when something
not
doesn't
our first
qualify.
Right, and I thought on that note, we could transition into social media echoes / odds / more of the recaps of the pre-party.
Echoes / odds / more of the recaps of the previous Eurovision.
Yes, I should name the segments slightly. So I guess we talked about it already, but there was the first pre-party in Madrid, where a lot of the performers kind of showed. So some of the performance, I guess, we've seen in the national selection finals. Some of the performances were performed for the first time there. So lots of speculations, I guess, about kind of whether the performance met expectations and so on. And as a result, we had some significant changes in the odds. So we just discussed the odds last week. And
that discussion is already out of date.
Yes. So whoever's listening to this episode, don't listen to the previous episode.
No, listen to the previous episode. A lot of worthwhile content there. Don't leave us.
So I think kind of looking at the odds just generally over the week, I think there were kind of some movement, I think, especially in the kind of lower half of top 10. I think Sweden was kind of rising up. Maybe Austria kind of moving around a little bit. But I think the biggest moves happened really after Madrid. And I think we had a change in the top position where Switzerland kind of, I think, is either at even odds or kind of has overtaken Baby Lasagnas.
It's
overtaken quite a lot now.
18 versus 16% winning chance.
I think that's probably proven by the fact that he was able to sing all of the notes. Like it just sounded like the studio version. The way
Did
he
you
performed.
hear the whole performance? Because I've heard just one snippet.
I saw, so initially all the performances were uploaded by vibezzz blogs and they were just kind of snippets of performances. But the pre-party organizers have uploaded, I think, 5 songs so far. Like the full recordings, like professional kind of camera work of the party.
Wow.
And Switzerland was one of them. And yeah, they did great. Kind of, I think maybe by the end of the song, you can see that they're running out of breath, but it kind of never impacted the vocal ability. So
the rapping and everything.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Really good performance.
I saw that professional one as well. Vocally, he was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I think the only criticism he received was for the outfit, because the commentators were saying, I didn't know, like adult baby clothes were back in fashion.
Isn't it sort of a connection to their video? Because
it's that dress kind of, I think,
from
the video. And so Nemo wore that same outfit, I think, in one of the Swiss kind of TV shows.
Okay.
Because I also saw like another recording, which was before the pre-party. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a hint to like the actual outfit for the final, or whether it's just kind of
something he had close by, ready to go.
So yeah, that's an interesting change. I think the other change was so Italy overtook Ukraine quite significantly. I think that was slowly happening throughout the week, but I think proven further by kind of over the weekend. Not sure what's causing that particular shift. I think Ukrainian duo performed quite well in the pre-parties. I mean, Angelina also performed well. So I don't know, 2 very good performances.
Was the performance of Angelina different from Sanremo?
I mean, in terms of the sound, I think it was very, very similar to Sanremo, very similar to the studio version. I guess kind of visually on stage, she doesn't really do much. So she was really controlling the kind of the stage, the audience. Just
Except
like
for being really cool.
I mean, she was also really cool in the pre-party.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking her video includes strange hair formations and stuff like that.
No.
A lot of hair-related things. So I was thinking maybe it's gonna somehow come into this performance. Okay.
There was none of that.
Yet.
She was just her cool self.
I wish I was.
The
She's
cool
always
cool,
a comet.
Yeah. Lots of charisma.
And I see that the Netherlands just caught up with, and overtook Ukraine as well. Both at 10% at the moment, but as it stands right now, Netherlands is just above Ukraine.
Was Netherlands performing in Madrid?
I don't think so. No, I haven't seen any.
I've only seen
videos.
snippets in general of Netherlands performance before, and it looked like a proper rave there.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, so it looked actually really, really exciting to be part of that performance. But yeah, I was wondering if he performed in Madrid.
Yeah. Baby Lasagna performed. I think he performed better than the national final. I think still some work to be done. But I don't know if they will do any changes to the staging, because again, he was wearing the same costume. It was kind of the same dance, but the audience just ate it up. Like, it was great. Like, everyone,
like it was Baby Lasagna.
Yeah.
All of that lasagna.
Yeah.
How did Sylvester do?
Sylvester did well, very similar to the national performance again. People were commenting that, his voice was good. So no kind of disappointments there. In terms of the odds, I think he fell maybe by 1 place.
Currently 13.
Yeah.
Just overtook by the UK.
I think we discussed it last time, that he was already overtaken by the UK by 1 place.
Yeah, it's kind of
something else.
Sweden and Austria were kind of making the moves ups and downs,
up.
and that's kind of, I think, caused Sylvester to fall below a little bit. But I don't think that's related to the pre-party. I don't know what's causing Sweden's moves, but I saw them kind of over the last week kind of consistently kind of moving around. Austria, for me, it's a surprise that it kind of still is in that place. I thought it would.
I think Austria getting closer to the event could drop, I would say, with the hype calming down, if she's not making an interesting performance. I've heard an interview from Sylvester as well that I don't think he's planning to make a lot of changes to the performance. Performance, in all fairness, has really worked out.
Yeah,
good concept. So I don't think we can expect loads of changes there.
Yeah. We also need to keep in mind that we currently only have odds for winning, right? It will get very interesting when they release betting for other things, like who's going to qualify, who's not going to qualify. So these odds will be very interesting to analyze. So maybe before the semis, we can look at those.
But yeah, generally, I think a very interesting year, as we discussed many times before. Odds keep changing. I think they will keep changing.
So is this still an open year? What are we saying?
I think so.
Very open.
It's an open year, but
we haven't had this for a while.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
A lot of people are comparing it to 2021, where it only became apparent that Måneskin are definitely in the lead by the time they got to rehearsals. And there's kind of speculations that maybe it's kind of a similar year where, we're not going to know until end of April who's actually kind of leading.
I don't want to know until the end of the final, keep the suspense until the very minute.
At any point, it should never end, like our podcast.
All right. Any other interesting snippets, news, or anything to share? Cool. With that, we end this week's episodes, and we will recap the London. We will rave, and we will recap the London pre-party next week. So tune in for that.
When is the pre-party? What day? What time?
Sunday.
The
best time for a rave.
Yes. I think finishes at 2 a.m. or something like that. So.
London pre-party. See you on Sunday.
See you there.
See you there.